Authority meeting on December 13th, 2023. Ben couldn't make it today, so I will be filling in. First time doing this, so have patience on me. Madam Director, how about a roll call this evening?
Absolutely. Ben Giovanelli. Mayor Stuart Bixson. Bob Bloomingdale.
Here.
Tanya Karsten.
Here.
Eric Diana.
Here.
Lisa Germani Williams.
Here.
Paul Haig.
Here.
Roger Knapp. Tony LaPuma.
Here.
Don Sinkowitz.
Here.
Lisa Swiftney. Marilyn Trent. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum, beautiful. Okay, first thing on the agenda is the approval of the October 18th, 2023 minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
A, beautiful. And Lisa, or, thank you. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Okay, let's go to liaison reports. First is the City Council, Marilyn Trent. How are you, Marilyn?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Yes, November 27th, there were two meetings. November 27th, 2023, there was a swearing-in ceremony for 4 members, 2 incumbents, Doug Gould and myself, and then 2 new members, council members, Christian Hauser and Debbie Jones. That was about it for that evening. And so on the 11th, this past Monday, there was a presentation of the Michigan Municipal Treasurers Association professional recognition for municipal excellence. It was awarded to our treasurer, Anthony Maggio. So it was a really big deal. They had a lot of people write letters and say a lot of good things about Anthony and what a good job he does and how he helps other municipalities. Like, it's really great when you can call somebody that has the answer, you know. You know how that works.
Yes.
I have a question.
Need that.
They fix it, right? They have an answer. So then there were 2 public hearings. One was the new Rewald project on 333 East 3rd Street. Maybe many of you already are aware of it, but it's a mixed-use project being proposed. It's featuring a market and a restaurant on the 1st floor and office space on the 2nd floor, and the building is next to the Rewald headquarters. Everybody is very excited about the market and having another restaurant, and they say it's going to be something like Italy. Many of you are aware how Italy is, and it's nice to have a market in downtown. The proposal was successfully approved, and it's making a positive step forward for this project to proceed. That was the public hearing. And then so Frank Rewald and Son pledged to enhance the Lions Park with various improvements. They planned updates include electrical enhancements, improved river views, by cutting down some of the trees. You're aware of the Lions Park next to in between the bridge and then the Rewald headquarters, and the addition of a pergola and a roof over the amphitheater as well. They aim to elevate the Lions Park overall experience and appeal. I know we've talked about it, the DDA, when I was on it many times. So the final draft for the 2024-2028 Parks and Recreation Master Plan was presented at our public hearing. And there was active public participation reflecting the community's engagement in shaping the future of our recreational spaces. A substantial number of individuals provided valuable input during the discussion. Emphasis was placed on the significance of the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and securing grants, underscoring its integral role in the grant application process. Anticipated to be officially approved during the next meeting on Monday, December 18th. The plan is subject to a few modifications based on the feedback received. The comprehensive document can be accessed online, offering insights into the meticulous planning and dedication invested in crafting this essential community-oriented framework. That's it.
Thank you, Marilyn. Anybody have any questions for Marilyn? No? Okay. Next, Krista, you're going to take the chamber, you said?
Oh, no.
You're not?
I'm taking PSD.
Oh, the PSD.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to chamber. She's gone. Lisa's gone, right? So Historical Commission, Don?
Okay. Good evening.
Good.
Couple items. The Founders Day celebration, again, we held on March 10th. at the Van Heusen Museum.
Okay.
There'll be more information as they firm up the plans and who's going to appear and who the guest speaker is and so forth. Along with the Founder's Day, we'll be distributing 1,300 of the coloring books to the second graders. That's the 16 of the Rochester community schools. In the community lifestyles, there was a great article written about the plaques, the historical plaques, and the posters that go downtown. Now, unfortunately, the article gave the Rochester Historical Commission all the credit, but they took two different organizations and combined them into one. So you have the plaques that go on the houses, those are the bronze plaques that you see. Now, the good thing about this article was that once the articles went out in the community lifestyle magazine and so forth, Lynn Anderson received a request for 5 additional plaques.
Oh, good.
The only drawback is that those plaques take from 4 to 6 weeks to manufacture because they're not an off-the-shelf item. So the individuals were wanting to have those ready for Christmas delivery, but unfortunately they won't be. But Lynn created certificates. So the people will get these certificates indicating that they'll receive these plaques. Now the plaques, all the plaques together, they're based on significant historic and architectural heritage of our town. The properties that, the qualifiers for the properties and the plaques are based on age. They have to be built approximately before 1970, they're 50 years. It could be for an event, the structure is associated with a historical event, could be local, regional, national significance. People, the structure is, the plaque is associated with the life of a person or group who made a remarkable contribution to history. Style, structure has significant architectural characteristics. And the cultural, it could be cultural, landscape, archaeology. It could be a former structure that was there that contributed to local history, such as a farm or a business that's no longer exists. So the articles created a lot of interest in the plaques and the posters and so forth. So we're really pleased to see that take place.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Don? Nope. Okay, now Christy Terraro.
Here we go.
PSD.
Yes, so at our meeting, we recapped the holiday events thus far. We met the first Wednesday of the month. So then we did a little preparation for goals and objectives for PSD, which will be in mid-January. And then most of the meeting focused on the replacement event for Fire and Ice, which is going to be the Frost Festival. As you may recall, at the October meeting, I mentioned that we had received word from Milton County that they are not going to be continuing the Fire and Ice Festival. Just, I think it's staffing a lot of different things, and it's just, they contribute a lot to the event, and they just aren't able to do it this year. And we didn't get the sense that it's a temporary situation. I think this is what's going to be happening. So PSD and the Promotions Committee worked together to come up with the Frost Festival, which is going to be January 19th and 20th. That request is coming before council next Monday for approval. And it will include a lot of things that you know and love about Fire and Ice. So we are going to be having the individual ice sculptures out front of the buildings downtown. Our theme this year is Under the Sea. And we'll also have live carvings, both Friday and Saturday. We'll have the collegiate carving competition. Rochester Lions will be back fundraising with their s'more kits for the fire pit and all of that. We'll have some ice photo spots, ice cornhole. We're adding a new shopping event that Jenna is developing right now, and there'll be more to come on that.
Beautiful.
So, but we're excited, but we think it's going to be a nice event for us. It just needs to be cold enough for ice. Seems to be a sticky point, yes.
That's it. Any questions for Christy? No? Okay, let's move on. General business agenda. Nick Banda, Economic Development.
Evening, everybody. Good to see y'all. Start off repeating what I said at council meeting, at planning commission, at ZBA, everywhere I go. Shout out to Taylor and Christy and Jen. I have no idea how these 3 women can do what they just put us through for 30 days. By everybody's, literally everybody's account that we've talked to. And this is from electeds to staff. This season has been just like a grand slam. Obviously, that how we got into closing Main Street at the last second for Lanyap was unbelievable. Thank you, MDOT, officially for letting us do that. The fireworks, thank you to the sponsors, it was Forest Ridge and Suave and Rewald. But I literally, so I was holding my phone by the stage, because the police chief was standing next to me, and Anthony was flying a drone over the bridge, so we needed that bridge clear, the last car to get out before it could fire the fireworks, because that's where they're going over the bridge, right? So we're all looking, so we were able to get really good shots over the street. So from Second until University, there's a way to calculate density. So we know it's 113 feet wide and how long it was, 1,325 feet wide. And you do these densities. It's called mosh pit density, believe it or not, or it's very dense. So we went with very dense, which isn't as much as a mosh pit density. And we came up with 34,000 people around that stretch of the road. Add in the restaurants, the people that were on the periphery watching the fireworks, you have 50,000 people. That's never been 50,000 people. And Kim and I were running up and down the street to see the people in wheelchairs, strollers, instead of freaking out, people yelling at, like, what are you bringing a stroller here for on the sidewalk? Everybody was just unbelievably smiling, and I must have heard Hallmark movie 50 times on the street. This is our Hallmark movie moment, and it couldn't get any better. So the bar's pretty high. If you talk to our electeds, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the standard from now on. Fireworks and close that road from now on. And then that, in my opinion, that flipped over to Carol in the streets. It's usually pretty well attended, but when you close the road and it's not Lanyap, it kind of feels not that crowded. Sunday night was crowded. It wasn't just around the stage. It was everybody again going. And on Lanyap night, me included, we're carrying bags of things you bought. People got into the stores, were buying things. It was magical. It really was. Weather helps, but now people know. MDOT was ecstatic how it worked. We closed that road, opened it 20 minutes early. We used the diversion exit, or the diversion to get them around while the fireworks were going out, so you could still get up to John R. and over. But it was a special night. So kudos to all the events that went on. Couldn't have gone any better. I went into business development, the business expo, and hadn't been there a couple of years. The vibe in there was like nuts. There was so many people. They were parked at the library. They were parked over here. It was pretty cool. So you should feel really good about that. It's been a heck of a time. Merchants I've talked to, 30 to 40% over last year in 1 month so far. In the days up leading, that's huge. Huge. So new restaurants in town. So economic development. So let's start from the north end. So the condos are back on track. You can see the brick going up on Schneider's. There's 4 up there now. He'll have those completed by spring. Build the next 6 and be done with them. All the garages are already built, etc. So he's doing that. DeLusa Building Company, which is at Highland in North Main, they're already in a little converted house. They're tearing that down and kind of building a mini Morgan Stanley building on that corner. So they got their engineering approved last Thursday, so they're ready to go with that. The elevator, we have final engineering approved through DEQ, through our AEW engineers. Complicated engineering site because it's a dirty site. Remember, the city got $1 million grant to clean that property up. So Mosheri and the Rewald team are cleaning up the property. They'll work all winter on the underground, getting the underground storage in, minimizing the effect of how much dirt they're touching there. Just like the Rewald headquarters site, we had to dig trenches because that's some really, really bad dirt that you can't dig it out. It's in the groundwater. It's bad stuff from the Higbee plant that was in the mills years ago. So you minimize that. They have to wrap every pipe, all this good stuff. So Mosheri's gonna be working hard at that all winter. Then they'll go above ground, 30 condominium, 30 apartments, 3 buildings. They'll be doing that. They'll be above ground in the spring. So then Bitter Tom's open. Tom Bosley's he's smiling. He's in there washing glasses because it's so busy, and he thinks that's pretty hilarious. And I made fun of him, of course. But he was in there doing that. Then the Eastman is below. It's another speakeasy. It's below Jamal's Dessert Oasis. Everybody, it's a great vibe. It feels really good. Cafe 316, unbelievably successful already. Turkish coffees and desserts. Go by there anytime, and people have accepted that already. St. 1881 got rolling now with not just the evening cocktails, but now coffee and stuff. People are doing great there. The workspace is buzzing next to the collaboration studio. They're doing great. Sports memorabilia guy is just happy as heck. He just keeps printing money there. I mean, it's a really good thing for him. We know Wiseman is moving to, south of Main Street. Everybody tried. The DBA tried to own the building. There's just not enough room for them, and they couldn't expand. So they're going in the new building that's being built by Dunham's. But today, can we say it, Christie?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so, because Brad said it at the meeting, so.
I guess we are now.
Yeah. So Tallulah Bell needed to expand, and without knocking all of, Roger Knapp owns the building they're in now, we'd have to do a lot of work there. Paul knows what that's like. And if you can, it's easier to rent a 1,700 and a 1,600 square foot space than 4,000. So she's moving over to Brad's. Brad's working with her. Roger and Brad have been talking, which is great. So she'll get a new store on that side of the street, which is great. And that fills that up for them. And then, let's see, what else? So Chase Bank, all the realtors now, the Good Realty and the, properties, they're in there operating, they've got their signs approved. It seems like I approve 2 signs every week for somebody going in there. The building work from Steve Whitaker, from John Chrisman, all the brickwork and stuff, everything got done on the outside of those buildings. When you guys have the walk, we tell them, we kind of nudge them, right, a little bit, and all that work got done recently. So the alleys were striped, so new pavement, striped, couldn't get the red walkway down, just the weather didn't cooperate. So we'll do that in the spring, but at least we got that stripe down, so now you can feel like you can walk safely on the inside, and they put the little markings back on the pavement, so that got done. The city's wrapping up our projects, which was Wesley, Wilcox, South Castell, Mahaffey. All those were the full, rip the street out, sewers, sidewalks, gas, everything, all done. So we're just gotta restore Wilcox, South Wilcox now, and hopefully they're gonna have that done by Friday. So that will be done, and then we're gonna have a year off of not digging up roads for a while we plan. We're still looking at 26 for North Main, so that's gonna be a huge project as we go forward. Last night, as Councilwoman Trench has said, the rewall project was approved, so that it's the market in the second-story office on the gravel lot, so that was approved. Elevators under construction, Randazzo got his Eagle approvals and our engineering, he's in engineering right now, so that's Walnut and First. That's the 134 units and 17 condos. We'll probably do the condos first. So we're working with him on a soil removal plan now, because it's probably 350 trucks. You have to go 50 feet down from First Street, deep, and take it all out. It's bad dirt, but it's petrochemical. It's not bad, it's from the old transfer station, so that's a lot of trucks. So we're gonna work with them to never go on First Street, never go on Walnut, never go on Second Street. You're gonna have to go work your way through South to Diversion to get up to Main Street and go that way. At the Planning Commission last Monday, Mr. LaCurco, Joe LaCurco, had 2 sites in. So think of this as a campus. If you go down South Street and you make the curve, right by the bridge above that all the kids spray paint on all the time, that's called 210 Diversion. And they had looked at a plan for a 5-story building 3 years ago, high-end condominiums. And I was like 1.5 stories above Main Street. It just didn't pan out. There's no way. And with the interest rates and the construction costs, so they withdrew that. Joey came back down to a 4-story building, 21 apartments. They're from $2,500 to like $5,200 a month rent. So this is high-end New York, lofty, really cool building. So that would be right by the bridge above with private garages. Then the second part of the campus is where Van Horn's and the cement plant is. So that's 2 5-story buildings. One faces the river, and then if you picture standing on South Street on the curve looking to the west, it will be all green. There'll be a big pond there with fountains and stuff. The other building faces that. So they're kind of like an L. That's 72 units total. Apartments, a little more affordable. There's like $1,500 to $2,200 a month. So I think they would build, if approved in February, they would probably build 210 first and then work their way into the apartments ultimately, the next step. So that's exciting. You get more people living here that can walk here, that support our local businesses. So vacancy rate, Paul, we were just talking about this morning, it's like less than 2%. There's nothing really. Doc Tala, he's got the apartments upstairs leased. They're leasing some of the basement ones. Ernie's is back on track to go below Silver Spoon. Paulo, so Rito is the face of Silver Spoon. Paulo is the money. Paulo purchased the Moon River Soap called me last Thursday, what do you want me to do there? Okay, you bought the lot, you don't know what you want to do there? Well, no, I know, but opinion, so probably a cool little pizzeria, not Silver Spoon, that's more like fun, affordable, funky, cool, he likes the vibe. And then maybe either an office on 2 floors or a couple of apartments above, and we told him, you're gonna need, or condos, you need your own parking, so you're gonna have to figure out a way on that first floor to get some parking in the back, or no one's gonna spend $1 million on a condo without a private parking spot. You can get passes for the deck, passes for the lot behind, O'Connor's, but I don't think you're gonna live in $1 million condo and not know you have space when you come home, so they're gonna work that out, so I would suspect by March, they'll bring in plans for that. Today, we talked to Mr. Matina, not Vince Matina, but Mr. Matina Senior. So he owns the old Lysander Woodward House, which is, as you're going out of town, the white house that's kind of just sitting up there by the senior center in Rochester Hills, right on North Lane there. He owns that and the apartments behind it. It's not good. It's in bad situation there. It's 200 years old. There's 7 people living in there and he can't live with it anymore. So he's gonna bring in a development, do the planning commission, and we'll have to start negotiating how we treat that site. It's probably for 12 to 15 condos up there. Because Pine Knoll behind that is basically sold out now. All those site condos were sold out. I think there's 2 more to go. And then Peter Collage, and shout out to him. If you look at the old Spartan, look what that looks like now. Give him mad credit. I mean, he's in and those front things are like these really cool awnings that he's getting the fabric paid for. So he did what he said he was gonna do. He really upgraded that inside, outside, and he's pretty proud. He bought Roger Knapp's old carriage house place on North Lane, and they're building 2 houses, one for him and one for his son, and we just worked all the engineering out for that. So one of them's already under construction, so that's going on. What am I missing, Christie?
I think that's what you ended with today.
What's that?
I think that's what you ended with.
Yeah.
Oh, did you talk about the collision shop in Clears?
Yeah. Oh, no, thank you. So Village, the old Village Inn, cleaners, and then the collision shop. So that's now owned by Dan Parrott from Dan's, Chris Parrott from Dan's, and Anthony Lombardo Homes. So they have optioned that. They've had it tied up for 1.5 years. It's really dirty to cleaners. So we're working together with them, and they're gonna tear them both down. We're gonna change the alley. We're probably gonna work with them like on First Street, where we change the direction of that alley for them so they can come in and use it. That's a dangerous alley when you come up to go into Second Street. You can't make a left or right without, you live right there, basically, you work there. So we're gonna work all of that together.
Walk on it.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be the best thing to do, exactly, walk up there. So they're gonna look at 20,000 square foot office on the first floor, no access from Main Street, which is pretty cool. Everybody before wanted to have a restaurant on the first floor and come in off of Main Street, and that's like, absolutely not. No lefts in, no lefts out. And they're like, we're gonna park it from the alley and diversion down below. Then they'll have 12 condos, 8 condos on the second floor, and then 2 condos on the top floor. So if you do the math, 20,000, I think one of them is 12,000 square foot condo and one's 8. Then the upper roof is bocce courts and stuff for them. It's really cool. So I think that's gonna happen. All right, so I just remembered a couple more. So then, a couple weeks ago, Thursday, I got a call from Eagle. Our representative's name is Michelle Baccoon. Michelle is the brownfield expert for the state. And she controls the money in the funds. Well, the feds got them, the state, more money. And she called and said, so Mr. Rewald is always obviously trying to make projects more affordable. So his team keeps calling Michelle, like, is there any more grants, anything more grants? So remember, we got $1 million grant for him, and he took $1 million loan out. We've paid them both off. Used the grant, paid off the loan in 5 years, way ahead of schedule. Elevator's going really good. We're spending the money fast. Eagle likes when their money gets spent. So Michelle said, got a Christmas present for you, Nick. I'm gonna give you another $1 million and send somebody to build something in town. So we had about 10 minutes to make that decision. So I reached out to the mayor pro tem, and we know the final answer is with the city council, but, so we prioritized them. So our first priority was they wanted residential, and they wanted to take obsolete industrial buildings to remove them. Well, you're talking about Solaronics. So we called the developer from Solaronics and said, we know you're in a, trying to get down for that beautiful big building, just in the wrong space, gorgeous building, too big for that space. So they would kinda, were giving it one more try to get it down to brownstones. Well, they're still at about 80, 88. So he said, what if we could participate, and the city takes a grant to help you clean that site up, which is about a $1.7 million cleanup, and then if we threw in $1 million, how about a density down under our M1, the zoning, 50-foot setbacks from the trail, from our DPW yard, from the Eagles, from Ludlow, buffer it, put condos in the middle, brownstones. Got it down to 42 to 45 units, they're like, deal. Sent them to the residents on Ludlow, the leaders there, showed it to them, they're like, this is what we wanted a low-density ownership, we're in. So I think in February, we're gonna see that in front of us. Then, if that gets approved, then the city council can grant them that $1 million grant. So my second choice was to incent 120 South Main to use the money, because that cleanup's pushing $2-3 million on the cleaners, it's a lot. So, but they're fine right now with the money. Randazzo already got a brownfield approved, but he would love to have $1 million, I guess, who wouldn't, but, so we try to prioritize them. And then Frank's building, he would love to have that, but they've had 1.5 grants already, so he totally understood, he would love to see Solaronics being built, as residential, so, been a busy couple weeks, but everything's, the signs are really good. We talked today, an appraiser, I can't say too much, but the appraiser came in from the school board to talk about the admin building, so they're reappraising it, so they know what the stature is. I met with the superintendent, the interim superintendent, super nice guy, super no baggage from before, super open-minded to, I get why the community loves this facility, what can we do together? Let's start with getting a realistic price in his own board's mind. Don't ask for 10 million, because you're not getting 10 million. Be reasonable, and can we reuse the building? Can it be residential? So first step was today, and spent 2 hours, Jeremy and I did with this appraiser, saying, you have to be realistic. You can't come up with a number that you think it's gonna be 200 apartments, because it won't be. It's zoned single family, it's master plan for quasi-public. Don't ask the city to do anything different. Kinda like the elevator, there's ways, kinda like Lenore Dental, believe it or not, if you could find a way to meld the historic value of part of it into your project, you probably have a better chance of making it happen, just saying, I'm clear-cutting. They have the right to clear it, but the superintendent's pretty cool, so I'm gonna be on the committee that's gonna help guide that with the school, so that's good news too, so. Now I think that's it, so it's good times. I think we're gonna have a good time.
Go ahead, Paul.
I'm gonna ask about the mural.
Yeah.
You are too?
Well, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Okay. And maybe I missed it. The auto drive-ins from Chase.
So Dr. Horatzis that owns it said, I'm not sure, someday I'll do something with it, but it's still, they're not using that part, they're using the ATM. So right now he has nothing on his mind. I think he was thinking like a Starbucks with a little rooftop patio on top of it, but at this point, nothing new. But having said that, his buildings he has Chase, the Chase building, he has Bellissima, and he has Chomp. So all those had vacant offices in them, all backfilled now. So he might be willing to talk to us pretty soon. Roger had me meet with him about taking out, maybe building more, wrapping around the corner on his parking lot, donate the parking lot to the city, so that would be public parking, don't charge him for parking, and then maybe build another little strip across from the corner bar, maybe. So Dr. Horatzis is trying to keep an open mind. Now that he's backfilling everything, I think he feels better about it too, so.
All right, my question is, we're still trying to save that mural that's in the building.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody knows that, so absolutely, and he knows about it, and he was committed to, they're not just gonna throw that away, so we'll have to find a way to work that out. Yeah, I love the superintendent, he's really cool. It's really neat because he doesn't need this job, and he's just here for a year and a half, and he's really happy, and he lives here, and I'm gonna make everybody happy on this, and I don't care, fire me. You can fire me if you want, but I really, he's very experienced, and good, he's got a great reputation, he's very calm, so that's pretty good. Madam Councilman.
Yeah, wasn't there some more artifacts in there? I mean, because the mural for sure, but
Yeah,
there
no,
was
is there?
Mural's about it.
That will all be dealt with when that
Okay.
time comes, but,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
glad that I had read that they were going to.
Yeah, I'm more worried, if we can find a way to save all or part of that building, and they came up with a number, Bob knows, it's $34 million to renovate. It's like, get out of here. Even the appraiser today's like, somebody pulled that one out of there, you know what? And don't do that. That's not fair. You're just trying to discourage, finding a way to say, we're gonna tear it down. That is not
Exactly
true.
what happened.
We know that's not true. So we're gonna find a way to, maybe we'll get another grant to incent them to do what we want to do and save that building somehow. So it's all good. So I'm gonna say, unless there's any other questions, got another meeting going at the same time, City Beautiful, and they're doing goals and objectives, so I'm gonna run up there if that's cool.
Okay, thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
And then I'm gonna call in, so to see how you handle it, Mr. Chairman, when I call in and start saying, hello, hello?
Okay. Oh,
It's at the end. I've got it on my report.
okay, the next one is Front Porch Project Grant Update by Christy Trevero. Give us some good news here, Christy.
So for those people watching at home, this is going to be news to you, but for everyone here, I apologize that I'm basically going to go over exactly what I sent you yesterday. But taking everybody down the road, as you know, with the Front Porch Project, we have been seeking grants. We had one that we were seeking that was federal monies from John James's office, another that we are applying for with Main Street Oakland County for the MEDC's RAP program. This was RAP 2, so they did it previously, and Oakland County was unsuccessful in getting grant money. I think only one community in Oakland, in all of Oakland County, received grant funds out of the first RAP. So Main Street Oakland County worked with the MEDC, and they highly recommended that the county put together a sub-grant application where they would work with communities within their program and put together a whole package rather than all of us individually submitting programs. They would put it all up as one, ask for the full fund amount, and then they would be responsible, Oakland County would, for administering the monies. As a part of that, the county would be putting in dollars, the communities would be putting in dollars, and then the MEDC would be putting in the other dollars through the RAP program. So we put that in the summer, waited to hear on that, finally heard in September that the sub-grant was not accepted for funding by MEDC. So Oakland County, not to be deterred, the staff at Main Street Oakland County started working with the commissioners, and they all had a lot of interest in saying, well, we had money in. If the community still want to put money in, let's talk. So, long story short, which is just going to get longer, and I apologize, but I'm trying to get all the good information here. So they've been working with the Board of Commissioners to do something about getting those funds to us. They were going to be using the county's ARPA dollars, the American Rescue Plan Act, that's from COVID, so as to incent placemaking, development, economics in communities. So they still have monies left over with Oakland County. So it got to the point we've been working on this for the last 2 months. So then it got to the point where it went to the, both the Board of Commissioners Chairman, David Woodward, gave his endorsement for the monies, as well as County Executive Dave Coulter had given his endorsement for the monies. It made it to the Finance Subcommittee of the Board of Commission for Oakland County, and unanimously was sent to the Board of Commissioners last Thursday, but instead of $4 million, they put $5 million in the pot, which was surprising and exciting. Board of Commission unanimously approved it last Thursday. So we had a call with Main Street Oakland County on Monday to figure out, okay, now what? Where do we go from here? So essentially, with the extra money that was put in, they went ahead and they spread it across all the 13 communities that had submitted projects. So Rochester's share originally was around 728, had we gotten it when MEDC was involved. Now our share will be 910.
Wow, beautiful.
So that's all coming from the county, from the ARPA dollars. To access that 910,000, we have to commit that we will be spending from our side at least 1.3 million into the project, which I don't believe that's going to be an issue.
Not a problem.
The projects and monies have to be expended and completed by December 31st, 2026. That is not an Oakland County deadline. That is a federal deadline because that's when all of the ARPA funds that's the deal. They have to be expended by the end of 2026. But we're only just coming up onto 24. So again, I feel like this isn't an issue. So where this goes from here. Now the county, because everything's about process, they're going to take first quarter to start figuring out the process of how they're going to do this. They had mentioned on the call on Monday, it might be very much like the restaurant relief program that they ran with us, that they ran throughout the county, where they would have check-ins that we would have to submit, I think it was every 3 months, and talk about, okay, here's what we said we were going to do, here's where we're at, here's monies expended, here's receipts, here's this, here's that, so you can check in that progress is being made, and then they pay us in installments. I don't know for sure that's how they're going to go. That's what they were talking about on Monday, so we'll see where all of that goes. At some point in all of this, there will be an agreement coming from the county to each of the communities, whichever is the body or bodies that are spending or are committing the dollars, spending the money, basically. Those are the ones that will have the interlocal agreement that needs to be signed and returned. Their goal is to have all of the process and agreements wrapped up by end of June 2024, so that then July 1, everybody can get rolling. That doesn't mean there isn't work that can't be done behind the scenes, but essentially they want to make sure that the projects are being kickstarted by the monies that are being given by the county. They don't want to just give money to projects that are already happening. Couple notes about it. It is restricted to Front Porch Project. When we did the MEDC RAP grant proposal with the subgrant, every community had the opportunity to submit one project. In Rochester, it's submitted for Front Porch. If we want to switch projects, we can't. It is Front Porch, or we decline the $910,000. That's how it works. There are a few communities that unfortunately, because the match went up, because MEDC is not at play, they may be having to step out. So they're all working in their communities to figure out if they can still come up with their match dollars to access the funds. If those funds are not accessed, well, yes, I know, all of us on the call, all of us on the call were like, but it's,
yeah, really.
but what it sounds like is not all the communities in Oakland County chose to be a part of the RAP. There's only 13 communities that applied. There are 26 in Main Street, Oakland County, maybe 28. So they don't know yet, but there was some discussion about possibly reopening it with the funds that are left over to communities that hadn't applied with the initial RAP grant after all the people that were in it to begin with are taken care of. But who knows, all 13 may come up with their funding, and then off we go. So lots of miles to go before we sleep, but this is all really good news, and I think it's going to be a great discussion at Goals and Objectives, which is what Ben had asked me to ask the board to go ahead and authorize. Doesn't have to be a motion. I think shaking heads is fine to say that we'd like to put this on the agenda for Goals and Objectives to have a deeper discussion. But I'm happy to answer any questions. I don't know that I have answers, but I'll give it a whirl.
So Chrissy, what we have put aside, what we have here,
Yep.
and then we have another year coming, we're close. We're there. We're close.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, as Nick and I have said, once because we had Ben had hit the brakes with the construction manager with Rewald and Son to say, okay, we don't know what the numbers are yet. We saw some of the preliminaries were getting a little higher for our comfort level, so we said, let's wait and see until the grants come through. And now they didn't, but now one did, and it's all very good. So now I think is going to be our moment to, and we'll talk about this at Goals and Objectives, go back, finish that so we can actually get some numbers down, start making some, decisions, choices, whatever you want to call, to get it into a place that everybody's comfortable with. And then once we see those numbers, as Nick and I both said, we've had some private sector people reach out to us to say, hey, when you're ready to go, let us know, and maybe there's some help that we can provide. We'd like to support the project. So at whatever level that might be, I'm not sure. So there's that opportunity. And then depending on if there are phasing opportunities. So I think there's like I said, there's a lot more questions out there, but I think this 910,000 is giving us a shot in the arm we needed to kind of start the conversations again. So I'm very excited. Yes.
I think we all are.
It was it was brief, but it was an exciting call on Monday. So it's all good. But I'm happy to answer any questions if I didn't cover anything else. I think that's everything that was in the email.
Any questions? No? Okay, Chrissy, you're back online. The holiday events up. You, Taylor, and Jenna, you've been killing yourself. So what do you have for us?
We're very tired. Okay, so Nick took a little bit of my thunder for a few things, so I'll hop on a few things that we haven't talked about yet. Holiday Expo, although Nick said, yes, it was crazy. Really great crowd. We had to let people in the door at about 20 to 5 because we ran out of room in the gallery at Royal Park. Wow. So we just had let them come on in. All the vendors seemed super happy. We saw lots of purchases being made. A lot of people told me, just like Paul always says, a lot of times it's about friend making.
And it was kind of electric. It was really,
There was
Good atmosphere.
Yeah, good energy, good vibe, and I think it was a nice kickoff for us because you'll hear me talk a lot about that energy and that vibe throughout my report because it just seemed, there's something about this holiday season this year. I mean, this is our 18th year with Light Show, and there's just something different about this year, but we'll get there. So Holiday Expo was great. The hotel enjoyed having us. They already called and reserved our date for 24, so if you want to mark your calendars, November 11th of 2024 is the Holiday Expo. So we'll be signing that contract so we can get that locked up. I don't know if we'll be able to get the full ballroom this time, but we may do with 3/4, so we'll see what we can do. So that's that. We didn't have any less vendors. We were just tighter. So everybody was still together. Festival of Trees, while I would say our ticket sales for the cocktail were down maybe 15%, which I've been hearing as I've been talking to other people around the community, ticket sales for a lot of events have been down around 10-15%, just because, people are making different choices because of the economy, different things. So we were, going into it, I don't want to say we didn't have high expectations, but I think that we had good expectations of what might happen. It was great. We did super well. People were happy, but Tony, you could say for Festival Trees, people were happy.
It was a fun night.
There was a lot. We didn't have to send Tuvalu back for a second round of wine. They learned from last time and brought lots of extra, so that was good. Oh, no, last year I had to leave at 7 o'clock. We started at 6. Or no, we started at 7. They had to leave at 7:30 to go back and get more wine. But they were prepared this year, so that was all good. So Festival of Trees, with our gross receipts, we raised $51,000. That's including the monies raised for the local nonprofits. We had 6 participating with us this year, so that was pretty exciting. So Festival of Trees is on for next year. What's nice in some ways, next year, I don't know if you started to look at the calendar, we're in that cycle where Thanksgiving is very late. So it's around like the 28th. So Festival of Trees is going to be in the 20s, but the Holiday Expo and Festival of Trees will not fall in the same week. So that will give Jenna, Taylor, and I a little bit of breathing room so we don't die. So that'll be nice for us. So we're excited. So we don't die. It's all very good. So Lanyap, I know that Nick hit it, but I can get it to you from a different perspective. So I was behind the stage, and let me back up. I'm in Disney on my vacation on Friday, and I just called to check in with Nick because he always wants to make sure that, again, I'm not dead. So I called him, and I just wanted to say, hey, but then he's like, hey, you got to call MDOT on Monday. I'm like, why? Well, there's some new people there. We've been making some calls. We think we can get Main Street closed for Lanyap. And I remember saying, okay, we can do that, but remember, if we do that, we are opening a Pandora's box. We can't put this back in the box once we do it. Okay. Well, that Monday night, box is open. All the things were out. But when you were standing behind the stage, it was very much like 18 years ago when it was the first Big Bright Light show, and we were lighting the show. We had like little transistor radios, and we were and it was, I think my parents and I can't remember who else were on switches behind the blocks because it was just 300 and 400 to turn the lights on. So I couldn't see anything because I was on a switch. So when I came back up to Main Street and saw that it had closed itself with humans, I'm like, oh my God. And I was standing up on the stage with Dave Llewellyn. That was the first time that he was with us. And he's like, I've never seen anything like this. So fast forward 18 years, here's Dave and I standing on the stage looking out there. And when you walked up on the stage, I walked up just to move something because Santa was coming up. And I just stopped dead. I was like, whoa. The people, the massive everything. If you ask John Fox, he'll say the same thing. When you were behind the stage, you couldn't see. When you came up, all of a sudden, it's like, hi, everyone. Amazing. Just incredible. And then when the lights went on and then the fireworks, and it was just the oohs, the ahs. But you walked around and Nick said it best. There wasn't a frown. Everybody was just happy. There was this vibe and energy. And usually, we know the drill. We would, when it was the old way, before we'd have Main Street, lights would go on, ooh, ah, everybody gets trapped for about a half hour, and then they leave. So, and we would usually, last year, we were open at the studio for the first time to sell merchandise, and I remember I was there, I had flipped the switch, and then I was waiting, and we had like 1 or 2 people filter in. So by the time I got all my pictures of the fireworks, made some more pictures, told my family goodbye, went into the studio, I walk in, there had to be 30 people in the studio. We had put out cute little trays of cookies. It was like locusts had come through, gone. But it was great because there are all these people and they're buying stuff and everybody's happy and we're playing Christmas music and it was a beautiful thing. So John Fox had called me about 2 days later and said, hey, talk to me about the fireworks. How does that work? How does that program go? Told him who sponsored it, that Nick had made a couple phone calls because it was fun for the 50th. He said, okay, this is our new normal. This is what everybody says to me. New normal is this thing. Everybody keeps calling and telling me what our new normal is. Well, we have to see if MDOT approves the permit in January before it's our new normal, but fine. He said, just put the fireworks on my tab. I'm going to take care of that going forward. So fireworks are taken care of.
That's great.
Yes, so Fire Chief already has a new plan of where the fireworks would be, so they'd be a little bit more visible. So we're excited about that. But then light show has just kind of continued on, and the crowds, I've been getting people texting me, kind of joking, kind of not, saying, what have you done? There are too many people in town. I can't even get into a restaurant. And I have my usual text is, sorry, not sorry. So there we are. So that's Lagniappe. But so after Lagniappe, we got to Plaid Friday and Small Business Saturday. Jenna said that we had a program where you could text in your receipt if you stopped anywhere downtown, and then you're entered into a gift certificate drawing. And we had 287 receipts texted in for a total, I believe she said, of $35,000. So pretty cool. That program's growing every year. That our texting system that we originally got funded through Main Stroke County through a grant, and now we're paying the subscription every year, really is paying dividends. It's pretty great. And we're going to be using it with the Frost Fest as well. Festival. I keep going fest with Fire Nice Fest. I got to get off it. Anyway, Cookie Stroll. That one sold out in 4 minutes. We had increased to 150 tins. They just keep going. We had 15 cookies this year, which was super fun. We've been talking with the merchants, because the challenge that we have is that most of the merchants that participate, they have someone that is designated to be the cookie person, that's all they're doing that day is just handing out cookies for 150 people. So we're going to talk about it at PSD at Goals and Objectives to see if the only way that we could expand it, we don't think that we could do more people on that day. It would have to be a second day of Cookie Stroll that we would sell for a separate thing, especially with the bakeries too, because right now, I mean, home bakeries making like 1,000 cookies for us. At a certain point, there's not room in the oven. At a certain point, we're going to have to figure something out. So that's something that's going to be talked about at PSD, because we know there would be demand, we believe, for a second day, because Jenna had started a waiting list just in case, because last year we had a couple people call and say, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do it now, so can I return my tins? We had 2 or 3. Our waiting list was at 147. Yep. So we got one person got a cookie tin. It was great. So anyway, so Cookie Stroll, but it's a nice fundraiser for the PSD, so that's something that we're going to be continuing. Neighborhood Light Fight, which is a program that we run through the Love Local program. This is our 4th year, and we had 5 streets this year, which was pretty awesome. So we had our originals, which are Lights on Ludlow, Alice in Winterland, and Holidays on Helen. And then this year we added Wesley Wonderland and Rudolph's Helpers, which was First Street. So, and this is all sponsored by Chief Financial. We had everything out in their yards. We had over 100 houses participating. Super fun. Loved taking the pictures. The one night it was warmer last week, I went and walked all the neighborhoods, took the photos. It's amazing just what time and care people take to do this. It was really awesome. So, Alice in Winterland eked it out. They were number 1, followed by Lights on Ludlow. But we were excited to see that Rudolph's Helpers on first came in 3rd. So. New to it, we're hoping that'll encourage them to keep going. And then it was Holidays on Helen in 4th and Wesley Wonderland in 5th. But I think everybody had a good time doing it. I know that I've heard from a few people on Ludlow that they already have some ideas for something for next year. I don't know what that something is, but I'm just excited for it. And then we had announced that at the Caroling in the City event on Sunday. So, but before we get there, so Neighborhood Light Fight kicked off on the 1st. Also kicking off on the 1st was the Snowman Stroll. So that's back for a 2nd year. We had 11, we now have 12. One of our snowman artists had a little trouble getting her snowman finished in time. She is actually just finishing at the deck, sealing it right now, so it's going out on the street tomorrow. So we will have our full complement of 12 snowmen out there. So one is up at Chief Financial, since they had stepped in at the last minute that they had some funds that they wanted to expend, and we have a nice annual agreement with them. They really like the programming that we do with them and the ROI that we have been giving them. So they offered and we said yes. And so they have Snow or Super Frosty is up at Chief Financial. They also hosted an artist reception, which we hadn't done before, which was really nice. The artists and their families to come. They got to meet the executive staff at Chief Financial. We had renderings of all of the snowmen up there. It was a nice event. I know Marilyn was able to attend. It was just nice to meet all of the artists and show them some appreciation for all the work that they've been doing. It was a nice day. So we did that. So all the snowmen are out. And then our last one, Candyman, will be hitting the street tomorrow morning. So we'll be back to 12. Last year, we auctioned off the available snowmen. This year, I think we're just going to offer a flat price. We were talking with some of the artists. They felt some kind of way about us valuing, like some went higher, some went lower. We don't want anybody to have hurt feelings. So I think we're going to flat price them. I've already had people calling, requesting certain snowmen. So if you're interested in a snowman, give me a call. Then we had the Kris Kringle Market, which was, again, wildly successful. A little bit of rain on Friday night, but we had vendors telling us that their Friday night was even better than last year's Friday night. I think even though the crowd wasn't the wall-to-wall that we would usually see on a Friday, I feel that the people that came, they were serious and wanted to shop, and so they spent their money. So that was really great. Saturday was good. Just overall, a really good event for us. Just to give you some perspective, all we were selling out there were light up necklaces and wands, and then the downtown ornaments, and we made $4,600 at our booth.
Unbelievable.
And that's the highest item was 15. Ridiculous, but it was pretty great. So, speaking of the ornaments, if you need ornaments, La Puma's sold out on Monday.
Love that.
But Rochester Elevator, DNC, and Home Bakery are still readily available. But yes, so that's that. But Kris Kringle Market, look for a new footprint for that event next year. We've been working with the new police chief, George, and with Chief John from Fire, and I think that we're going to be able to expand it around the corner as we've been wanting to do for a little while. We have an idea of how we're going to be able to make that work, because that's one of the things that has been kind of pigeonholing that event, is that we want to have that vibe and everything, but it's just getting to the point, like Lanyap, it's just too much in that one area. And I think that just having us being able to curve, we're not going to double the size of the market necessarily, but we're maybe another third, and then moving and expanding the little warming tent area, I think is going to be a good choice. So look for more on that. That's something that PSD is going to be working on next year. So lots of things to do. We did the buy one, get one gift certificate program, where the DDA committed funds from the Love Local Fund, PSD had committed their funds, and Chief Financial had committed their funds. So we had $15,000 in match. People showed up at 1 o'clock with lawn chairs to camp outside of the studio. That was new. We've had people at 3, but 1 o'clock was new. The gentleman, we got to know him quite well because he kept coming in to see us. He was from Flint, and he enjoys Cruise and Muir, and by doing this program, he gets a couple free meals at Cruise and Muir with these free gift certificates. Okay, so we decided that we wanted, the challenge that we always have is obviously we have limited funds, and we hate that there's people that do show, they can't get there till after work. They show up in the line, the people that have been here early, there's just physically no way they're gonna, by the time we get to them, that they're gonna get certificates. So what we did this year is we told everybody, you don't need to line up until 5 o'clock. They didn't listen? Okay, fine. So then at 4:45, we had printed vouchers. And I went out into the line and explained to everybody, you can't buy any more than 2. I'm going to come along the line. You tell me if you want 1 or 2. Then when you go into the studio, you hand them your vouchers. Then they'll process it. No takebacks. Whatever I give you is what you get. That's how it goes. So that way we're able to go down the line. So by the time it was 5 o'clock, people that were just arriving, we could tell them, sorry, no need to stand in the line for an hour. There's nothing left, and then we could just process all the people that were still in the line. So it worked really well. We're able to get through the whole line in about an hour to get everybody processed and ready to rock and roll. But those monies, and I'll be able to give this number in January, but we're on track. Last year, between middle of November and before we would leave for Christmas break, we sold over $100,000 in gift cards, and we're tracking that again. So off we go. Yes, and especially since we're doing it on paper certificates, that's crazy town, but it's all fine. Okay, gift certificates, all right, getting close. Caroling in the City on Sunday. Really nice. Fire and police are saying that we had about double the crowd that we usually get. As you know, caroling's a little bit more chill. We really don't cast a wide net on the marketing for that, because that was really an answer to people that miss the old school lanyap, that they like being able to just come down and enjoy town and do their things. So even though we had double the crowd, it was still comfortable. and fun, and weather-wise, I think we lucked out. It was really nice. Kicking things off with the Rochester Falcon Marching Band, that's really great. We had Vibe Dance Team, we had carolers, we had Guardians of Harmony, Ugly Sweater, which people really stepped up their game this year. I mean, there were like electronics and there were things. It was pretty awesome, and even a dog on his own. So that was great. So we did all of that. And then our last holiday event is tomorrow night, which is Pancakes and PJs at the fire department. We are officially sold out, so we will have 150 pancake and PJers descending on the fire department, starting at 5 o'clock tomorrow night. And it's sponsored by O'Connor's Public House, Cheese Lady, and Walton Wood on Main. So we're excited for all of them. It's a Grinch-themed pancakes and PJs, so this is not your regular fire department pancake dinner or pancake breakfast as they do. We're doing dinner, and so of course I have Grinch sprinkles, I have whipped cream, we have a Grinch photo spot, and Walton Wood on Main is doing a fun photo frame craft for the kids. So lots of fun stuff, and we have goodie bags with presents. Yes. So that is everything that I know about the holidays at this moment, except I'm going to pass this around to everybody. So we have had a request from Nancy Salvia, Councilwoman Salvia, that she feels that we are not tooting our own horn about generally a lot of things, but specifically the light show. Hang on, I'm going to hand these over. So what's coming down to you, this goes back to when I was talking about the energy and vibe. There is something about this year, and I don't know why it wasn't an anniversary for the light show. I don't think we did anything different from a marketing perspective, but all these logos, which this is going to be going up on the DDA's website tomorrow, are all of the media outlets that have put us on lists. This isn't just media coverage, because I could have added a lot more to it. This is just people that have put us on lists. And if you're wondering what lists, if you go to the second page, that's all of this. These, all of these will be up on our website as well with hot links going to the actual articles. We have local ones on here like best holiday light displays in Detroit area by Visit Detroit, 9 best places to find holiday lights around Metro Detroit. Then we get up more into statewide things, 9 Christmas towns in Michigan that will fill your heart with holiday cheer, 11 best Hallmark movie-esque Christmas towns in Michigan. This week, we got 7 Michigan light displays that will leave a twinkle in your eye from Pure Michigan. But then we have 5 that we got on national lists. Great places to see Midwest Holiday Lights by Midwest Living. Best Dog-Friendly Holiday Light Show in Michigan by Chewy.com. They'd actually called us back in October to talk to us about that. 25 Best Christmas Light Displays across the country with the Pioneer Woman. We were pretty excited about that one. And then these next 2 are my favorites. 50 Best Christmas Light Displays in each state by Parade Magazine. They picked only 1 in each state, and we were selected for Michigan. But number one's, that's number 1 with the bullet for me. 51 cutest Christmas towns in the world.
God.
We were between Suffolk, England, and Paris.
What?
Really? What? Like, that's just ridiculous, but I'll take it every day. So, yeah, pretty darn good.
Big,
Not just
big.
50, but 51.
51, I don't know why 1, but they picked 51. I guess they couldn't choose, so they had 51, and it's fine. But it's very funny, a lot of these, when you click through to read the articles, the banner is Big Bright Light Show, because it's just so visual. It's very funny. I almost put it up on the screen for every night, because every time you click, it was like boom, boom, boom. Pure Michigan, it's us. It's people walking across the crosswalk, and you see the East 400 block. Amazing. So all of this with the links are going up on our site tomorrow, but I just thought this was kind of impressive. Congratulations. Thank you. And then this is going to lead to something else that's in my executive director update, but I will wait because I've been talking way too long, and it's time to do something else. But to be continued in a few minutes.
Okay, I want to add one more thing to this. You see all these things, we're going to international, Rochester, the Wall Street Journal. Is that what you're going to tell? Okay, I'm stopping, forget it, okay. Okay, let's talk about goals and objectives. We have to pick a date for that.
Yes, so executive committee was talking about the last few years, we've been doing it where we would move DDA an hour earlier on our regular DDA night and then squeezing in goals and objectives afterwards. They would like to move it to its own date, especially with the news of the front porch funding. And there's just a lot going on these days. They would like us to have an evening that's just dedicated to goals and objectives. So our next regularly scheduled DDA board meeting is the 17th. So the question to everybody was, would Wednesday, January 24th at 7 o'clock work for everybody?
Good for me.
January 24th?
January 24th, so it's the fourth Wednesday.
Coming back on
So we
17th.
have the regular.
We have the regular one on 17, and then we want to do a separate one, yes. Just so that we're not rushing.
Actually, I may be in town still.
Okay.
I'll just change my flight.
Okay.
It's really hard to get into my hair appointment.
Some of us don't have that problem.
But wait, you said it's at 7?
7.
Okay, I think I have enough time.
Everybody feeling good?
I'm good.
Okay, all right, well, I'll send out a note, I'll send out a meeting invite for anyone who's not here, just to make sure
6:30.
that that date is gonna go, but I'll go ahead and if everybody can mark it on their calendars, that is what we are
won't have
doing,
to
and of
worry
course,
about
we'll
that.
provide dinner,
We'll just be waiting.
That's 7 o'clock, right?
7 o'clock, and actually, we're gonna do it at the studio.
Oh, okay.
Because our goals and objectives doesn't have to be televised, so we're gonna do it a little bit more casual, get off the dais.
So we can bring dinner with,
No, we are bringing dinner for you at the studio.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you wanna cater, you wanna cater?
well, I'm gonna be out of town, and so, before that, so I don't know if I
Okay.
can, but I will talk with you about
Okay,
that.
you talk with me, otherwise, because
If
we
I
always
can-
like to go from within. Patty Eisenbraun from Brown Iron, she holds properties in town. She's on PSD, so they get barbecue for their PSD, for their goals and objectives. I can always hit Patty up and see if she wants to do 2 meetings for us, but yes.
Well, I do
Otherwise,
remember-
last year we did Coney's.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember the hot dog bar.
Yes, we had the hot dog bar last
yeah.
year, so, yeah. All right, well, Tanya, you and I talk, and then otherwise I'll talk to Tony.
Okay, you talk to me, whatever you need.
Okay.
We can do
Fair
meatloaf,
enough. It's like,
mashed potatoes,
is that January of
hot
this year?
pies.
January.
January
Oh my God, where the hell is this year gone? Sorry.
Dude, I know, we were talking about Festival of Trees, I said, I think that was like 3 months ago. No, it was like 3 weeks ago. I don't even know what's happening anymore. Yes, all right. Okay, got it.
We got it? Okay, how about save the date?
Another date on your calendar. So our annual accreditation will be going for 19 consecutive years, being accredited nationally, is going to be on Wednesday, February 7th. I don't know if they're coming for a full or half day yet, so once I get a better handle on the agenda, I'll send something out for everybody. But usually, they want to meet with the board and different committees just to talk about, how are things going here? Are there any resources that we need that they could possibly provide to us? So it's usually a good thing. There's a new accreditation checklist and things this year that we're walking through, so apparently it's going to be a little bit more intense. So, but I still want 19. So we'll see how this all goes. Yeah, I think there's like a webinar I have to watch about how to get accredited now. I don't know. Beats me. We'll figure it out. We always do.
Keep moving forward. How about the executive director update?
Hello? Thanks, Tony. Okay, so here we are. Wall Street Journal. So, as Tony eloquently mentioned, so about a month ago, we got a call from a reporter from the Wall Street Journal. She knows someone at Main Street America, Matt Wagner, who some of you met when he came, when they were doing the Next Gen proposal and case study about Rochester and Royal Oak and Farmington. And he's the vice president at Main Street America. And she had reached out to him that she was very much interested in writing an article about a downtown that was bucking the trend, that they had successful independently owned businesses dotting their Main Street, and that people were still coming downtown. They were shopping in person and still attending events and doing all the things. And so Matt emailed her back and said, call Christy. So she called me. We did a pre-interview back in October. She told me in no uncertain terms that this is not for sure. We're talking to many communities. My other colleagues are talking to other communities. You probably won't hear back from us. Okay. They called. So we've been working with them since beginning of November. She had a very specific list of people that she wanted to talk to, because when I got her in October, I pitched. I got her from, we started in 1983 when the dinosaurs were here, and up we went. And I did everything. I did Main Street Makeover, I did COVID, I did all this stuff. So she wanted all those stories. So she needed me to find someone who had received an original facade grant. Thank God Paul Haig's here. So, I mean, literally, I had this list. I'm like, oh, God, I need a 3-generation business. I need this. I need somebody that did something innovative during COVID. I need somebody that's doing innovative to incent shopping. So I gave her a list of 12 people, and I believe that she's talked to at least half the list, because she She called.
Yeah, the photographer was in the restaurant for 45 minutes. He
Yes.
was great.
Yeah, so they sent a photographer out Kringle weekend, and he was in town for about 8 hours, just taking photos of everything. And then he started texting me as I was working at the Kringle booth, and about 5 o'clock, he said, hey, if I want to get an overhead shot of the lights, what's the best way to do that? So I called any of the property owners that I knew had roof lines that don't have the high parapet. For anyone who doesn't know, Main Street, even though it looks like, oh, it'd be great if you were on the roof, a lot of them have very high parapets you can't look over. So I called the businesses that I knew had rooftop access safely, that we could take pictures. Nobody was in town. It was a Friday night. So I'm thinking, okay, if I need an aerial shot, who do I know that can get me up high? So I called the fire chief. And we ended up closing East 4th Street and pulling up Rochester Fire 1 and putting the reporter from the Wall Street Journal in the bucket and hanging him 100 feet in the air over Main Street.
Hallmark movie.
Yeah. So his name was Nick. He was very excited. He thought it was fun to go up, all guys like fire trucks. So he was up in the bucket. And he called it, he said that this is going to be our scene setter for the article. So he was up there for about 25 minutes taking every photo imaginable. Of the list of people that I gave him, I know for sure he's talked to Tony, he talked to Paul, he talked to Danny at Bologna's, he talked to Nate and Jamal at Desert Oasis. Who else did he talk to? Hold on, there's other people. Those are the ones I know for sure. There's a couple other people that he went to see. So it's, yeah. It's been a lot, so we're excited, and it's supposed to run before Christmas. The whole theme of the article is going to be about economic development and our story and how Christmas lights are economic development, which you've heard me say many times. So when she said it to me, because I didn't say it to her, I was like, whoa, yes. That is correct. So as soon as that comes out, I will send.
It'll be big. She had a lot of interest in the town square when I talked to her, too.
Oh, see, I talked to her a little
Yeah.
bit about that, but not much. I
Yeah.
was really digging further in on the
I bet I
independent.
talked to her about 20 minutes on I was driving home and I pulled over. And, yeah, she had a lot and asked me the numbers, how much we have.
They love the stats. Yeah,
Yeah, they love this town.
Oh, yeah, it was very funny because she had called me back the week of Festival of Trees, busiest week
Yeah.
of the year. And I'm literally decorating a tree, and I've got her on speaker. I finally had to put her on speaker, and people are walking by, and I'm like, yeah, no, the Norwal doesn't go there. She's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm so sorry. So, things are happening
She
over
here,
here.
Christy? It sounded
No.
like she was here.
Ruth didn't come, no. So actually, the photographer that is their freelancer is from White Lake.
Oh,
So he was familiar with the area. He had actually said he'd been to La Pumas when he was a kid.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun. So, but I really wished it would have been something maybe completely outside to get their moment when the lights went on. So I don't know if you had that moment.
Yeah.
I know I still do, but yes. So as soon as that link comes out for the article, I will send it. But she said it was going to run before Christmas because it's
Yeah.
about the lights and everything else. So we're excited.
Okay, beautiful.
Yep. So that's why I'm waiting. Then Wall Street Journal just go.
I
Right
know,
there.
That's huge. That's international. That's huge.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one for us. So I keep looking every day, but I know they were still talking to people yesterday, so we'll see.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, what's that events and marketing update,
I
Christy?
think I gave you everything.
Everything?
I think
Okay.
everything that we've got, yes.
Financial report? I guess you get in touch with Ben if you need anything, or
Yep, everything's in the packet, so if
the
anybody
packet.
has any questions, let us know.
Business Development Committee?
business development, I think Nick and Christie handled it all. I can't think of, he handled every single thing we had on the list.
So we're good.
We're good.
In site development, nothing going on new, so we're there. Anything for miscellaneous? No, that's it. Let's call it a night.
Nice job.
We need a
I'm dying to do it.
Yeah.
Thank God.